Okay, so first let's go through the overall theme and the challenge. Overall theme, we have the King of Water. Opening your heart and mind to those around you, trustworthy and heartfelt advice, and charity work. I also, when I see this is the King of Cups, so it feels like this year is going to be a year about learning to work with your emotions on a deeper level, because water is the element that rules the emotions, that rules the heart. So lots of lessons to be learned about the heart, about love, and about compassion and relationships. But also, when I see the King of Cups, I also think about boundaries, because he has his arms crossed. And in the other deck that I use, he's on an island, like a really small island by himself in the ocean. And he's the king, so he's like ruling his domain from a distance, without getting too emotionally involved, I guess you could say, or, involving himself on a level that doesn't drain him emotionally and empathically. I feel like this is a year where you may be finding that you're more empathic than you realized. I feel like that's something to also consider as well. And, allowing your emotions to really rule or dictate how you are handling certain situations is something to consider this year. The challenge this year is the Four of Earth. Being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, and giving to those less fortunate. So this is interesting because they're both about charity here. So I feel like this year is going to be about how you can give back without overdoing it, how to give back in a way that supports your emotional well-being and your financial well-being, without overextending yourself. So maybe this could be about, giving too much in life. So this could be a lesson that you're learning, how to say no, how to respectfully say no to certain situations that are draining to you, even though you want to be helpful. Or it could be in the other direction, where you are learning how to be more charitable and be more willing to help others instead of being totally focused on what it is you're trying to achieve in life. You know what I mean? So it's really easy to get wrapped up in your own life and your own emotions and your own challenges and goals and tunnel vision on that, and not see your friends and family around you needing your assistance emotionally or in other ways. And there may be some neglect there, so that could be something to consider this year. Also, when I see the Four of Earth, I think about overprotection as well. So I feel like guarding your emotions could also be something that's coming up this year. Maybe this is a challenge that you have dealt with for a while, like really closing your emotions off so you can rise to the top, because Capricorn is that sign that is constantly climbing that mountain of success and wanting to achieve more and more and more. And in order to do that, maybe you have to close off those emotional aspects of yourself and harden your heart, get toughen up and things like that. But this is a year to tap back into the heart, learn how to do the things that you want to do in a healthy way that supports your emotional well-being. And you may find that in times that you're going to the financial extremes, you may be suffering emotionally. So that could be something to take a look at when you're really overextending your bank account this year. Pausing and just checking in and being like, why do I feel like this is necessary for myself at this time? What is this trying to fulfill? And then in the other direction, like if you're being crazy about hoarding your money and like not allowing yourself to enjoy life, take a look at that and say, like, why am I preventing myself from feeling joy? Why am I preventing myself from feeling happiness? Like, what am I trying to protect? What am I guarding emotionally and energetically here? So that's something to really consider. Energy healing. We have this for the life purpose card. And this may not necessarily mean you need to quit your job and go become a spiritual healer. I feel like this is more of like your purpose this year is to learn how to work with your own energy for your benefit. So this is a year of understanding your body and your emotions and your energy on a deeper level so that you can do more, be more, and live life to the fullest. If you're only living in the physical to increase your bank account, there's parts of your body that are being neglected. There's parts of your energy body that are being neglected there that need to be, you need to take a look at, basically. So this is a year to, go inwards and really work on balancing those energy centers, your chakras. I would take a look at that. Or going somewhere to get some energy healing done this year, talking to a spiritual healer for some advice on what you can do to get yourself balanced again. Just adding things to your routine that are beneficial to your well-being, like daily meditation or going to yoga or, nature walks, eating healthier, prayer, connecting with a spiritual group. Just tapping into the spiritual side of yourself is something to be, is something to reflect on this year. However, if you do feel like this is calling you to go in this direction, as in like, a career, I would start to look into this. If you're feeling like this is calling you to look in that direction, then definitely take a look. Okay, so we have January, and I know that we're already in January, but we're going to get into it anyway. So we have the 5 of Fire, competing goals, bothersome details, and conflicts with others. So I feel like this is the beginning of understanding what's out of balance in life. This month, it feels like there's lots of tension, and maybe you're starting to see that it's not working for your highest good. Or maybe you are, and with this concept of overextending yourself and saying yes to too many things, I feel like this could be also what this is about. 5 for me represents change. Fire is the wands. It's all about ambition. It could be about career. It can be about creativity and passion, what drives you, what motivates you, where your energy is going. And I feel like this is saying that you are in a time of change, and maybe you aren't willing to fully grasp that. And in this shift, that I feel like you probably know that you are in a transitional time, but you're grabbing at everything to distract yourself from these shifts, or you're making it too complicated. And you're making it too complicated. You're taking on too much. This is the time to start letting go. There's a shift in what your creative ambitions are. There's a shift in direction, like in your direction for what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go. What's motivating you. There's a change here. So as you are shifting into this new motivation, this new ambition, you're reaching for that, but you're still holding on to what used to drive you. So this is a time where we need to learn to let go. Competing goals, it's not conducive to your progression in life. It feels like you're in like a tug of war here between what you used to do and where you're going. So in conjunct with that, we have the romance card deck, which is saying free yourself. So I'm saying this has lots of different meanings here. So with the 5 of fire, with the competing goals and the shift that's occurring, it feels like you're trapped. And this is telling you to let go of what you used to love, basically. It's like what's driving you isn't what it's always been. So like, I'm trying to think of the words to explain this. Like, the stuff that needs to fall away is like your old love, and now we're reaching for a new love. And it's saying you need to let go of what you used to love to do so that you can really soar with this new direction, with this new love. It's saying this is an illusion of entrapment. I mean, this unicorn is much taller than this fence here. So it's saying, there's an illusion of feeling trapped here. There's an illusion of like victimhood here, feeling like I don't have any power in the situation, but you do. It's time to take back control of your life is what it says. It's time to stand up and step out of this fence here. And this could be in regards to actual relationships here. If you feel like you've been, if you are in a relationship and you feel like you have lost your voice in it, it's time to take back control of your life within that relationship and start voicing your needs. This could be an indicator that if you are in a relationship that doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, I feel like maybe there's a change in a relationship that it's time to, maybe you're finding that their beliefs and values are not, on the same wavelength as your beliefs and values, and what drives you and what motivates them is much different than what motivates you. And, you're not sure if you can continue forward together because you guys are kind of going in different directions at that point. Maybe you've been finding yourself in lots of arguments in a relationship, and it's time to free yourself from that cycle of, negativity there that's not really helping either of you grow. You know what I mean? So it's time to break that cycle of disagreements and learn how to compromise, or it's time to end the relationship and move on. But I don't like to say that. I'm a big advocate for, fighting for love. If the person is important to you, I always recommend working through it, as long as it's not an abusive relationship, because relationships aren't always easy. Or if you're feeling like a relationship that you're in has been very controlling of you, it's time to take back your power in that situation. So lots of different messages there for January to take a look at. And it continues, actually. A desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual, and emotional growth. So in letting go of something, in releasing something so that you can get yourself more focused on your new path here, freeing yourself is going to allow you to gain this sense of spiritual enlightenment to a certain degree, where you start to see things from a new perspective and understanding your place more deeply, more emotionally speaking. I feel like this is a very positive time. The search for something more meaningful. And I feel like that's what this is all about. Like letting go of the old ways, stepping into the new ways, and discovering that you can actually soar to new heights in this new journey. And it's going to feel very blissful at this time. You're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel more adventurous and more curious about what life has to offer in February. This is an emotional time, obviously, with the cups, with water. But in tapping into those emotions, you are finding pieces of yourself that maybe you've tucked away for a long time. And that's where the spiritual growth and enlightenment starts to come in. And the honeymoon, enjoying the bliss of holiday time together. So this could be saying for January, it might not be a relationship breakup, but like in a love relationship, this could be a breakup with a career. And in letting go of an old job or an old career or an old position, and stepping up into a new direction is going to free yourself from this feeling of being held back, and this new desire for expansion in your life actually benefits the relationship that you're in, because work life can really affect your personal and romantic relationships as well. So if something is really dragging you down and making you feel like you have no control in a situation, and making you feel less than, and then you finally release that, you're going to gain this new sense of empowerment, an emotional freedom. You'll start to feel the joy again, and you'll be able to bring that back into other areas of your life. So your relationship may be going to a new level here, where you can see where the neglect may have been, and now it's time to place your focus back in there and learn how to nurture that area of your life. Or it could be leaving a job or leaving a relationship and feeling this newfound freedom. And in the honeymoon phase, it could be a joy of, this new adventure in life and this desire to seek new adventures and go out and search for new relationships, or a deeper relationship with yourself. Doesn't have to necessarily mean being in a relationship. It could be a newfound, connection with life itself. Two of air. So this is for March. This was February. This was January. So now we're in March. In March, we have the Two of air, which is where I feel doubt starts to come in. Like, you're doing really well in February. You're in this very blissful place, and maybe it's starting to creep back in. Like, your old habits are creeping back in and forcing you to doubt your abilities, to doubt your strengths and skills, to, just second guess yourself here. We have the Two of air, being unable or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate, pretending there is no problem. So maybe you were in this blissful state here in February, in this lovey-dovey place. It is Valentine's Day. But come March, you start to question your actions. You start to become unsure of what you're doing. We do have Mercury retrograde beginning in March, from the 5th to the 28th. So that's like the majority of March here. And Mercury rules the mind. And air is the element of the mind. So it's like a frazzliness, like a static going on in the mind, in your thoughts, where you can't really make out what it is that you're trying to do here. So this is not, I would say that this month is not a time to make really serious decisions if you can avoid it. Mercury retrograde may be affecting you in this way, where you start to get a little confused, or fear starts to come in and challenge your decisions, or people around you start to challenge your decisions, and you start to doubt yourself and where you're going. There's confusion here, anxiety, definitely, and just going back and forth between where it is you're going next. But we do have engagement coming up in March. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So this could be an actual proposal coming in March, and maybe you're a little freaked out about the future from there, or maybe you're not. If somebody proposes to you and you're not sure if you want to say yes or no, or if you want to propose to somebody but you're going back and forth between, actually going through with it. That could be something that's going on this month. Or this could be your interaction within a relationship. If you're in a significant relationship. Oh, I'm sorry. I just bumped the camera. I apologize. So this could be how you are interacting within your relationship this month. Is pretty significant at this time, understanding that you're in it together and you're not, like, every disagreement that you have is to strengthen your relationship rather than weaken it. Understanding different perspectives, understanding where the other person is coming from, and then coming to a compromise together is what relationships are all about. Rather than staying stubborn and, not wanting to listen to any other opinions. That's what, creates walls in relationships. So how you are engaging with others is important this month. It says right here, your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So, really think about that this March, as you're going through what you're going through, because you're going through it together and not separately. If you are in a marriage, your decisions and actions affect your significant others. life, basically. So, not understanding that your actions are what takes your relationship to a higher level. Your actions and your decisions. But I would say this would be the month to really reflect and work on your environment rather than so, like, you know how I was saying that this year is a very creative year, you know, great for manifesting and all of that, but there's also that hanged man energy where there's pauses in time, there's, you know, spaces in time that can feel uncomfortable, and that is calling in reflection and, you know, the time to really take a look at your environment. So this month would be a time to take a look at your relationships, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, and just an important relationship in your life. Taking a look at that and seeing if that environment that you guys are subjecting yourselves to is reflecting where you would like that relationship to go, or, you know, your ideas for growth within that relationship. You know, how can you bring that friendship or marriage to a higher level of commitment? You know what I mean?